Alrighty, so this is actually really exciting. It's starting to rain. It is June 26th, 2019, and thought, well, I forgot my tripod, and so there really shouldn't. Here's some bees robbing out some an extra frame that I had. Anyways, getting distracted. So this is I don't know what this is, week 8, checking on our nuke. So getting back to why the rain is a really good thing, you've probably heard me say this before. Flowers go into stress mode if there's not enough moisture. You know, obviously what's one of the greatest drives for any living thing, and that is to self-sustain and also to reproduce. Oftentimes the drive for reproduction is a lot stronger than even the need, or the desire rather, for sustenance such as feed or what have you. And so same thing with flowers. Flowers, of course, being the reproductive part of a plant. And so when things are stressed, when there's not a lot of moisture or what have you, their reproduction cycle is condensed down to its most efficient and quickest way possible. So you get the blossoms don't stay open as long, they don't produce as much nectar, and of course that obviously affects the welfare of the bees as well. So with this nectar and the blackberries still having probably a good 2 or 3 weeks left to bloom, this is going to refresh them. They're going to produce more nectar. I know even in my hives I've noticed a bit of a dearth. There's still nectar coming in, but not as much. So if we get an inch or so of rain, that'll really help. So it's currently kind of drizzling a bit, and so we're not going to see too much activity in the front of the hive. Go ahead and open the top here. Definitely a big difference from what we were seeing last week. Now see here again, like, we don't have to disturb them. So you can see that white wax. You can see a little bit on this side, but okay, so you know, once again, white wax. This was a newer frame with foundation. White wax, both sides, and then the population of bees on this frame. Kind of see them here peeking out. And then this is the last, okay, so 2 frames here on this side that the bees aren't too actively working yet. There's some of them, but not actively working. This one, they're clearly working. This one, they're clearly working. You can actually see the white wax there. This one, you can already see they're capping it. Working, last frame. So depending upon, like, we can, let's see here, I don't even have my hive tool with me here, and working bees without a veil and a hive tool while it's kind of drizzling is not necessarily the wisest thing in the world, but hey, you know, you need to get stung every once in a while in the face just to make it feel real. Okay, so here, let's do this. Okay, so judging by the weight, it's maybe a quarter of the way full. You can see the glistening there of the nectar. See it on this side too. And then that's foundation. On this side you can see that was a foundation frame. They're drawing that out a bit. So after this rainfall, and the same thing with where you're at, if you've had a lot of heat and sun, you'll notice without rain, you're going to notice the nectar flow drop a bit. But then if you get an inch or so of rain, that's going to pick up again. So you need to keep an eye on it. So with where this colony is at, I would say I'm going to check it in about 4 or 5 days. And if they have started working on that second to last, well, we have 3 frames that hadn't been worked on yet. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait about 4 or 5 days and then add another super. There would not be any harm in adding another super now. The one thing you do not want to do in the middle of a honey flow is have the bees run out of room, because they'll go into swarm mode, or sometimes they'll just it's kind of a weird thing. If a colony gets plugged out with honey, uh, they just go into a different mode, and sometimes it's difficult to actually get them back on that production uh, mindset, if you will. So anyway, so that's kind of where we're at now. As a general rule, especially this time of year, if you see a super 3/4 full, even 3/4 full of bees working that super, go ahead, throw on another one. The reason you want to be careful of not over supering early in the year is because of nighttime temperatures. Gives more, obviously there's more room for heat loss, and your brood nest, while it's developing early in the year, can be chilled, and of course that's going to set back the colony development. But as you get into summer, you can err on the side of over supering, providing them more space than they need. So anyways, hope this helps, and yeah, so we'll see you in a few days.